everyone, it's Kim.
And Robert from Kitten Marlowe.
If, as you're listening to the Strangford expedition, you think to yourself, I want to run By Endurance We Conquer at home, we have excellent news for you. The team over at the Gauntlet and Plus One EXP have formed a dark alliance to bring By Endurance We Conquer, Beach Blanket Body Bag, and Dead Pilled to print.
Each of these popular 2 to 3 session games have been visually remastered and have core rules added to make each one a standalone experience.
Persevere through Arctic survival, experience a tragic psychedelic beach bash, or watch members of the Manosphere get picked off one by one. Each of these games touches on different themes and types of horror and invite your table to experience the award-winning Carve from Brindlewood system in its most accessible format ever.
The project has already surged past its funding goal and is unlocking and expanding the connected tissues that weave these games into a wider universe of play.
Support the game now through August 14th at ttrpg.link/KMB3. That's ttrpg.link/KMB3. The Strangford expedition is intended for mature audiences and may contain material that some people find disturbing. Please see the episode description for content warnings and listen with care. As the rescue party from the Fang takes their first steps onto the ice, I think it's time to present the question that you must answer. Your question is, very simply, what happened to Captain Strangford? It is a complexity 8. We solve the mystery by finding the captain and rescuing him, or identifying his assailant, then capturing or destroying him, or otherwise just finding out what happened to him. A unique facet of Carve from Brindlewood games is that I ask this question and I have no idea as to the answer. We are going to find that out through play. How we do that is by visiting locations, scanning the environment, doing strange occult rituals and prayers to the Isigaruk, whatever you might choose to do, and rolling the move Find Clues. You will roll that with a relevant stat, and on a hit, you will receive a clue. Once we have gathered a sufficient number of clues, we will then attempt to answer the question. We will use all of our clues to build a credible story as to what happened to Captain Strangford, either by incorporating the clues into our answer or explaining away the clues. And then we will roll plus the number of clues gathered and minus the question's complexity. Makes sense so far?
Yes.
Marvelous. I think the first thing I would like to have happen as you all step out onto the ice is a scene. You all have started trudging out into the unforgiving snow. We see Wolfgang ahead of all of you, leading the way, and right behind him, Lars Hegeland, the Swedish survivalist. And then a good distance away from that very industrious pair, the rest of you. As you're making your way to your first location, what is it you all talk about? What are you doing?
You don't think he could possibly be just camping out on the ice, could you? I would imagine he would be lost. Theories.
It's possible his brain started to go. He could be seeing things. He could be experiencing something we do not understand. I would like to think he has more wherewithal to have an actual reason to go off on his own, but it's been weeks. Has anyone seen anything weird? Has anyone seen anything that might have caught his attention specifically?
Not really. Lina, have you seen anything off?
Strange is an interesting way to describe something out here. If you stare at the ice long enough, you see all sorts of shapes in it. So have I seen Noken and Mara dancing in the snow? Maybe. But you see those if you stare long enough.
You're seeing dancing in the snow.
I think you would call it hallucination, snow blindness. You stare at an empty field for too long, and your mind begins to populate it. What does it matter, though, whether the captain wandered off on his own or was taken? That is not our job. Our job is to find the man, see if he is still fit to lead us, and if he is, put him back in charge. And if he isn't, well, we have worse problems to deal with.
Does anyone else want to be in charge? Is anyone vying for this, or are we all pretty happy with Captain Strangford being in the lead? Redwell being next. I know you men love to be in charge. Is someone vying for something?
Chukalito next to you sort of snorts a bit.
Ravi, I always see that lust in your eyes, huh?
No.
I am messing with you. You're a good one.
That would be mutiny. I'm here to serve and align myself with the true captain.
Yes.
Einar, somewhat friendly, gives Lars a thump on the shoulder.
How about you, Swede? We all know how much you like to be in charge.
He looks around at the rest of the crowd. A moment passes.
It is funny because, Swedes don't like to be in charge. They want everyone's opinion on everything. It's funny.
I like it. No, it's good. I understand.
Lars looks at you a bit dismissively. He has quite sharp features, quite cold-blooded, both in action and in temperament. Talk burns calories. Emotion wastes time. The ice does not care who cries, and so I learned to navigate by silence. And I have not been lost since. I would recommend you all follow my example.
He's the first one of you I've heard speaking a wick of wisdom.
Following this strange yellowed map left behind by Captain Strangford, you arrive at the first point of interest, what looks to be an abandoned supply depot. It was never marked upon any of your official maps of this area. All around you, you see bizarre tools that serve no apparent purpose. There are some bare footprints leading away from camp. Dr. Delanvier looks at those and says under his breath, "If those are the captains, he may already be dead." I have a paint the scene here. Paint the scene is when I ask all of you a question, and you will help me flesh out some details about a location that we have arrived at. Paint the scene. What details about this supply depot make you think this camp is from Strangford's second expedition to the Arctic?
There is a table that maybe used to be where you would check out and actually get your supplies, put it on the ledger. And there has been things moved where clearly there was an attempt at a torch, or there was certain paper spread around a seat in a specific way. That is the way that Captain Strangford likes to set up his office, to look at things and see what's going on. It's odd because he likes to sit low. I think that's a funny sign. So there's a very small stool there because he likes to be eyed. He can't see very well. He doesn't like people to know that.
Tattered in the wind are different coats, long johns, under things that don't fit the current party. Textured ghosts of the last exposition.
While most of the consumables have long since vanished from this supply depot, there are a few tins still on the shelves. Their seals cracked, their contents long since frozen or spoiled. Their labels mostly have fallen off, but one still hangs on, made pale by the endless summer suns of this far north. You can just about read that this was once a can of tomatoes that went bad about 2 years ago.
I believe, Ravi, you have a move that kicks off when you enter a new location, correct?
I do!
Can you go ahead and read the details of the photographer to us?
Add a vest pocket Kodak to your sea bag. You capture more than faces, you catch what's coming. When you enter a new location, ask what is about to happen. The keeper will answer truthfully, though not necessarily completely. Once per game, if you find the time and space to develop your film, you may also ask why. The keeper's answer is a clue. So, keeper, what is about to happen?
Ravi, as you look around, You recall that on this long journey on foot through the ice, Dr. Norland has been unusually quiet. And now you see him standing alone, looking at the bare footprints that were left behind by who knows. You start to see him begin to take off his coat, loosen his boots. Something is going to call him to walk out into the ice, never to be seen again.
Cool. Pun unintended. He's going to just very gently nudge Maeve and jerk his head in the doctor's direction.
Doctor!
Huh? Yes? He says, taking off one of his boots and going for the second.
What are you doing? It is cold. You are going to get colder. What's happening?
I've been away from home for far too long, Ms. Lindgren. I believe I should go home now.
Maeve walks in front of where he is walking and just looks in his eyes and tries to see what's going on.
His eyes are distant.
I touch his hand. Is he responding to my touch?
He brushes it away. Miss Lindgren, please do not get in my way. It's time for me to leave.
Or what?
I suppose I'll take you with me. He grabs you by the wrist and starts pulling you away into the ice.
I'm going to start going. I want to see what he's doing. I'm curious. I'm going to go. I'm going to see what happens.
Ravi, you nudged Maeve in the direction of Dr. Norland, and then the next time you look up at the two of them, they have disappeared, wandered away from camp. Einar, what are you doing?
Ever the practical person, Einar is going through the crates, the tins, looking for any scrap of anything that might be useful.
Please find clues with reason, please.
Okay. That is a 9 on the dice.
And Ravi, perhaps a bit shaken by the fact that you possibly just sent Maeve to her doom, what are you doing?
He's gonna scurry into the supply station and look for Einar.
Einar, can I possibly bother you for a moment, please?
What is it?
The doctor was seeming a bit homesick, and I tried to get Maeve to absolve it, and now they're both gone.
Maeve is a big girl. She can take care of herself. Did you see which direction they headed in?
No, I wouldn't have bothered you if I had an idea of what was going on.
So, was your plan to wander off after two people and get yourself lost?
No, it wasn't. That's why I was hoping we can get lost together.
Let's focus on the captain first. Then, if Maeve is still missing and the doctor, we can search for them as well.
And he just starts taking one step back and another step back and he's out.
All right, trying to follow those footprints.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a find clues with reason.
That is also flat. That is a 10, though.
Maeve Lindgren, Dr. Norland grabs you by the wrist and starts walking with you out into the ice. Time passes, it's hard to tell how much. The light here is so strange, the surroundings so alien. And eventually you come upon an immense glacier floating in the water. It's tinged with red. There's this red, iron-rich water that seems to be seeping from a hole in this giant ice mass. Dr. Norland looks at it. Miss Lindgren, I dare say it looks as though that glacier is wounded.
Yes, it does. What brought you here?
Look, Miss Lindgren, there's a bit of an ice bridge there. I believe we could walk right to it, if we wanted to. Paint the scene. What about this place makes you want to reach out and touch the red ice, even though you know you shouldn't?
The way the wind has eroded around the red makes it almost seem like there's things being sucked into it, like things have skidded across the ice to go to this thing. It feels like a gravitational pull to this seeping wound in ice that also, by itself, it's fascinating. What is it?
While the iron-rich ice might look like blood, it also catches the light in a way that blood does not, almost glitters like a jewel or a sweet. So much so that you not only want to touch it, you want to break off a piece and taste it.
Following that vein, the red, the clear, it almost has like a wine-like texture.
Maeve, Dr. Norland, is already starting to make his way across this narrow, slippery little ice bridge across the water, growing closer to this bleeding glacier.
Doctor, do you care if you die?
You can no longer see Dr. Norland.
Well, I have to go take steps closer. I don't want him to just disappear.
Ms. Lindgren, you start following the footprints left by Dr. Norland, but then you see them fade away. Dr. Norland leaves no mark upon the snow, and yet you do see him standing next to this bleeding glacier. Though now that you look at him, you see frostbite covering his face, the tip of his nose gone, his eyelids frozen shut from cold. I do not care if I die, Ms. Lindgren. Don't you remember? On our walk here, I stopped for a break in the snow, and you kept going. Indeed, you lost Dr. Norland several miles ago.
She starts to panic a bit, and I didn't leave him. I didn't leave him. I went with him. I didn't leave him. I went with him. And she's looking desperately around. She still sees the image?
Yeah, Dr. Norland is still here. He's reaching out and touching the iceberg.
I go to grab him to pull him away.
Oh no, Ms. Lindgren, it's deliciously warm. Come, you're freezing.
No, we have to get you back. We have to get you back because we have to get you back. I did not leave you, and I have to get you back.
Ms. Lindgren, this is going to be a night move. When you do something risky or face something you fear, name what you are afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve.
I'm afraid that I will have left someone to die again. That cannot happen again.
Ms. Lindgren, it's worse than that. This little ice bridge that you took to get here will shatter, and you will be left alone on this floating, bleeding glacier with no way to return back to the crew of the Fang. This is going to be a night move with composure.
And this might be something that can I use my ability with?
Tell me your ability.
Carpenter is, when they give you a rope, a nail, and a reason, you'll build what the moment demands. Once per game, you can describe the item that's just needed and add it to your sea bag. Alternatively, once per game, when you use what's near, ask the other players to name 3 objects. If you can describe how all 3 objects are helpful to the situation at hand, get an automatic 12+ on a single associated die roll.
Okay. Are you looking to do the second option here?
It feels so hard considering I'm surrounded by ice.
There could be some things left behind or stuck in the ice.
Previous expeditions.
Yes. Floating in the water.
That's true. I think that's more fun.
All right. So, as Ms. Lindgren is trying to resist the siren-like call of this hallucination in the ice and make her way back across the ice bridge and away from the bleeding glacier, what objects are around here that could possibly help her?
Half buried in the snow is an old, rusted harpoon, scrimshaw still visible in its handle.
Nearby is the concept of a sled, bits and pieces and curls of wood, still hardy, ice-worn.
I want to say stuck to the side of this glacier, almost like a bandage trying to stay the bleeding of this iceberg, is a flag from a previous expedition. All right, Ms. Lindgren, I will let you take a moment to think about how you get yourself out of this situation. Einar, combing through rotting boxes in this supply depot, much of what is left here is of little consequence. Some frozen cans of food, worn coats, boots, a few journals, nothing of note. But buried at the bottom of one of these boxes is a most unusual spyglass. And as you hold it to your eye and look out onto the snow, you see strange, colorful patterns in the ice and blinking lights underneath the ice's surface. That is a clue, but you may also add this spyglass to your sea bag.
Ooh.
But I do have to make your life a little difficult. Einar, as you are looking through this spyglass, you see a large silhouette against the white, motionless, watching, enormous. And while moments ago you heard the other crew members of the Fang starting to make camp, conducting their own cursory investigations amongst this supply depot, now you hear nothing in unearthly, unnatural silence. How can you tell that you are in some strange waking dream at this moment?
It's the silence. Even though he may have felt like he was the only one trying to solve the problem at hand, Einar could always hear the other parts of this expedition team chattering to each other, making noises as they bluster around, knocking over boxes and whatnot. But that's silence now. Nothing but the wind howling amongst the ice.
That silence is interrupted by deep, rhythmic thudding beneath your feet, like something vast and patient beating just beneath the ice's crust. And echoing it, you hear a deep, rhythmic knocking on the door to the supply depot.
A lot of Einar's job is all about feeling vibrations, knowing when the ropes are too taut, when the beams of the mast are going to snap under pressure, feeling that beat underneath him, in front of him at the door. It's a little like a spider who feels not a fly struggling in their web, but the hand of something much larger destroying the web casually. Einar goes towards the door, but carefully pulls the knife that he always keeps in his boot out and has it on hand, just in case.
Einar, you hear the voice of Captain Strangford. Gunnarsson, are you in there? It's freezing, like the devil out here. Please, open the door.
A little bit of his caution gone, Einar opens the door.
Make the night move with sensitivity. What are you afraid will happen if you fail?
Well, I'm afraid that it's not Captain Strangford, but something much worse.
Einar, it's worse than that. As you open the door for this entity, it will enter not just the supply depot, but your mind, your body. You will spend eternity in mere seconds, dying at the hands of this god, and yet feeling blessed and awed to have ever even been in its presence.
Almost unconsciously, Einar's hand goes from the knife to the smooth stone that he keeps in his pocket, as though reaching for a piece of home to give him a little bit of luck and comfort in this moment. I'll be invoking my smooth polished stone so that I roll with advantage.
Please mark it and take the roll with sensitivity with advantage.
That is a 1, a 3, and a 4, so a 7, but with my sensitivity of -1, a 6.
You open the door and Captain Strangford stands before you. Behind him is just this endless expanse of shadow. And then those shadows start moving into this small office, climbing up the walls, coating everything in black, as dark as pitch, seeping around your boots, and then traveling up, pulling you deeper into this fathomless dark, making its way into your eyes, into your nose, into your mouth, and then cutting you from the inside. You feel something eating at your intestines, pulling you, being so careful to keep you alive as it feasts. And there's some part of you that smiles and feels grateful. You have sacrificed yourself to something so much larger, so much more powerful. Indeed, it will make better use of your life force than you ever did, Einar Gunnarsson. To give your life to this creature is an honor.
I think I would like to mark a burden so that doesn't happen.
All right, let's talk about the burden mechanic here. All of the players share the burden of the icebound dream. This is similar to the mask mechanic in The Between or the crown mechanic in Brindlewood Bay. But instead of narrating your personal character flashbacks, each burden of the icebound dream narrates a piece of Captain Strangford's history. There are 5 in total, and they are shared amongst you. So choose your moments to mark a burden very wisely. I will give you a moment to think about that, Robert. Ravi, you try to follow the footsteps left by who knows in your attempt to find where Maeve and Dr. Norland went. But there's so much fresh snow here, soon the footprints become lost and messy. Only because you marked a 10 do you not find yourself lost on the ice and away from camp. But as you stand alone on this endless expanse of snow, you see something. I think possibly for the first time, if Einar's ribbing has any truth to it. The Northern Lights, awash in beautiful colors of blue and green. And yet as you gaze upon them, these lights shift in their flowing, graceful travel along the sky into sharp, angular patterns resembling letters or claws. That is a clue.
And he squints a bit, trying to decipher the letters or the shape of the talon to a certain animal, but then remembers the dry hallucination bit from Einar, kind of shakes it off, and squints and tries to stare at something else, despite the beauty of the colors.
You feel a wet nose on your hand as Wolfgang has padded up to you and is biting at the edge of your coat, trying to pull you back to camp.
Wolfgang, hello. I have to go. I have to go find the doctor and Maeve. You want to come with me, please?
Wolfgang looks at you, taking the measure of you, unsure of your survival. And then you see coming up just a couple steps behind Wolfgang, the cook of the Fang, a Reginald Dumpley. Well now, boy, why have you gotten so far away from camp?
Because the doctor and Maeve have disappeared, and I didn't want to lose anyone else. I was just going to take Wolfgang, and hopefully we could find some footprints or something.
And you're a keen ice master, are ya, young Ravi?
I mean, I have the most capable of canines to accompany me, so I would think the skill kind of balances it out a little, teeters over the edge.
Don't mistake me. I think Wolfgang would survive here better than all of us, but I think if I let you go out onto the ice, I would have just another missing sailor. Come back to camp, lad.
Come with me.
Now, Mr. Ravi, I'm working on a stew. I can't just leave it alone, can I? Pray help me, boy. Those fingers look like they're just as capable of slicing a potato.
It's kind of like dodging back and forth, almost a dance in trying to decide. I have to go. I'm so sorry. I have to. And is already taking steps in a direction.
On your own head, Ravi. I won't come looking for you.
Getting softer and softer.
And Wolfgang pads alongside you.
Yes.
Gives a light little harumph in I hope you know what you're doing, as the two of you head out into the snow. Maeve Lindgren, you have been given a abandoned sled, a blood-soaked flag, and an old rusted harpoon. How are you going to use these items to escape this hallucination in the snow and make your way back across the ice towards the no doubt dying Dr. Norland?
Maeve realizes what's happening. She has tears frozen on her wind-burnt cheeks. And as she looks around to see what she can use, she remembers it's been weeks. She's watched Einar strengthen ropes and maneuver lines and put things together, and she's seen the way this works. And she takes off her own scarf, the long scarf, and winds it with the flag by ripping it into one long piece and winding them together to strengthen them. She attaches it to the harpoon and tries to mount it on a sharp piece of rock behind her so she can attempt to throw this harpoon to the other side and walk along the ice bridge with some of her weight lightened on the rope.
Incredible. And on a 12+, you just do this.
Obviously, there's no one around but the wind, but she is mumbling to herself, just like, you've deserved this, you've done this, you deserve this. She's going through and she's beating herself up doing this task to try to get as fast as she can back to where she believes the doctor is. I forgot one thing. The sled, the idea is to throw it across to the other side, to then drag it with her, to then put the doctor on when she can find him.
Incredible. Because you are utilizing your Carpenter Special, which gives you a 12+, I will say that you arrive just in time to save the life of Dr. Norland for now.
Mm-hmm.
You come upon him laying down in the snow, almost as if he's asleep. It's only from the slight rise and fall of his chest that you can tell that he is not completely frozen to death. He is in a very bad way, though.
Maeve will try to just rub certain spots on his arms, on his face. She takes off her own coat to put it around him after strapping him to the sled. And she knows she might not make it back, but she's going to try her damnedest to get him back.
Marvelous. No roll necessary. I think we're still riding off of that 12+.
Nice.
It's slow, but you start pushing this sled with Dr. Norland clinging to life upon it, and clinging to something else. Clasped in his frozen hands is a piece of paper. And when you arrive back at camp, Dr. Alphonse de Lambier starts ministering to Dr. Norland, trying to save what bits of his limbs he can. And you manage to pry this piece of paper out of Dr. Norland's frozen grasp. It looks to be a page torn from a journal. It's a farewell letter written in what you know to be Captain Strangford's hand, but curiously dated tomorrow.
Is it to all of us, or is it to one person?
Excellent question, Madeline. And here's where I say that some of these clues are kept purposefully vague so that when it comes time to answer a question, you may add that bit of color to help support whatever answer you would like to arrive at.
Awesome.
Einar, that knocking grows louder, and as you move to open the door, the person standing opposite you is not Captain Strangford. It's Tucalito. Are you all right in here?
Yes, I was actually looking for you, either you or Lars, since you are the ones who are supposed to know your way around this area. I found this, and
he holds up the spyglass.
Do you know if any previous expeditions through this area would have left something like this, and if so, where they would have gone?
I do not know, Mr. Gunnarsson. She takes that spyglass and looks through it, and then drops it, places it back into your hands.
Yes, I should have warned you, perhaps. It is a bit of a strange sight on the other end.
Do not follow those markings, Mr. Gunnarsson. That way lies death.
Well, from my perspective, most ways out here lie with death.
How are you feeling in this moment?
Einar's rock-steady confidence has been shaken by this odd moment, seeing these strange lights, feeling the pulsing heartbeat-like thumping from underneath the ice, hearing the knock on the door and his captain's voice when it wasn't his captain at the door. He's used to the shifting waves underneath a boat, but solid ground should feel more solid than this.
Please take the condition watched by the Isigaruk.
Well, if you suggest that we do not follow the direction that this glass leads, what would be your recommendation for where we should head? After all, you are the guide.
Mr. Gunnarsson, my advice would be for us to save ourselves while we still can.
Unfortunately, my loyalty is to the ship and its captain. And so, as long as I think that we can still rescue Strangford, that is my first priority.
Speaking of Strangford, Robert, you have marked the first burden of the icebound dream. Could you please read the first prompt for us?
Narrate a flashback to the height of Strangford's fame, when the Royal Explorers Club toasted his name in smoky salons. Tell us about the expedition that made him a hero. What discovery cemented his reputation? And what promise, spoken or unspoken, did he make that still echoes in his choices today? In the spring of 1903, 2 ships left Safe Harbor in an attempt to cross the legendary Northwest Passage. The Jura, under Captain Amundsen, out of Oslo Fjord, and the Gorgon, captained by Strangford, sailing out of Liverpool. Beginning leg of the journey was somewhat uneventful. Both ships were neck and neck as they rounded Baffin Bay and crossed into the narrow, icy straits of the Arctic archipelago. And then fall turned to winter, and by October, both ships had been iced in. The captains made the best of their time frozen in the cold expanse of the north, sending teams on dog sleds or skis out to try and map whatever they could find, while others simply sat at the ship, keeping themselves warm, waiting for the coming spring. Spring wouldn't come for 2 years, not till 1905. The first sign of life that anyone from the outside heard was in the small town of Eagle, Alaska, where a strange man with a foreign accent burst through the doors and insisted on using the town's telegraph lines. The Jura was free and was sailing on to Nome and would be there shortly. Amundsen himself had made the trek. And so that summer, the citizens of Nome kept an eye out toward the harbor, waiting for the Norwegian to make his way, and were shocked when it was in fact the English vessel that they saw first. This was maybe Amundsen's mistake. when he left his ship alone and made the long, harsh walk so that he could let people know that his men were still safe and alive, he cost them a few precious weeks. Strangford, on the other hand, pushed through, caring more about the adventure, about the accomplishment, than the safety of his men or the value of his name in the outside world.
Ravi, you and Wolfgang set out into the Arctic in search of Maeve Lindgren and Dr. Norland, not knowing that that pair is already making their way to camp. Indeed, possibly arrived moments after you left. The two of you walk. The wind howls, and in that wind you hear a voice. Who is it, Ravi? Who calls to you?
His mom.
Ravi, Angel, where have you gotten yourself to? Always on grand adventures. I looked for you one night and you weren't in your bed.
You're not real.
Always the most imaginative boy. Come, Ravi, you'll catch your cold outside.
I am leagues away from home. My bones might as well be ice, and you're not real.
Hearing this, Wolfgang licks at your hand and nudges it, tacitly saying, I am real. Stay with me.
You're here, Wolfgang. We're here.
And the two of you continue to walk. And Ravi, I don't know who it was that told you the story of the colossal diamond, but now you see it before you, real, an iceberg with a perfectly reflecting surface, polished to a mirror-like shine, without distortion. Paint the scene. As Ravi looks into this mirrored iceberg, what part of his reflection changes subtly the longer he looks?
Where the middle of his eyebrows were looking terrified, kind of nervous, quickly eyes darting around. His eyes narrow and get very serious and intent, and look could only be described as malicious.
The smile lines deepen and the skin grows a bit more shriveled and hollow, as he doesn't grow but ages by decades.
And it's hard to tell if it's just a quirk of the reflection and refraction of the ice or something darker. But as he stares into his own eyes, the eyes staring back are dark, multifaceted, like an insect's.
Ravi, as you continue to stare at this mirrored iceberg, watching your reflection change, what memory of yours comes to mind? What is the ice showing you?
Despite denying the voice, the reflection is him back home. He was an only child, a fierce mama's boy, Miss Evangeline Falkberg. Did all kinds of activities with her, from the more masculine, hunting, skinny, etc., to sewing, painting, anything to spend more time with her specifically.
Cool.
Okay, pulling back the photographer. Keeper, what is about to happen?
I'm so glad you asked that. Ravi, the voice of your mother, Evangeline, will return. You will be visited by the Isigaruk, appearing to you in the form of your mother. The Strangford Expedition is a Kitten Marlowe production. This episode was edited and produced by Kim Dalton and featured a theme song by Jason Myers. You can find out more about us by visiting kittenmarlowe.com, signing up for our newsletter, or following us on socials. For Discord access, exclusive cast talkbacks, TTRPG materials, and more, visit patreon.com/kittenmarlowe and join our doomed crew, the Kitten Marlowe patrons, in supporting artist-driven storytelling. Thanks for listening.